under Article 37,
Yeah.
It guarantees every citizen to demonstrate or to picket in petitioning their rights to any given authority. And this is a case for the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacist and Dentist Union.
Yeah.
And these, they want their medical interns, that is 1,215 interns, to be posted. And under the Kenya Kwanza government, in accelerating to having the universal health coverage, the plan was to have 20,000 health workers to be employed to help accelerate the universal health coverage in the country.
Great. Now, the strike is here and they are promising to go on strike, that is Monday, tomorrow. But looking at things, first of all, as Kenyans, are we safe? It's the doctors, someone is shot, and then nothing happens. As a Kenyan, as a normal citizen, are we safe?
What I can say is that we are not safe since the health sector is a critical component of our economy. And the Ministry of Health should act accordingly to make sure that they have or they coordinate with the Kenya Medical Practitioners Dentists Union.
Yep.
To mediate on how to post or to post the interns that they were claiming that they haven't set for or gotten a place for the last 1 year.
Yep.
So that in that scenario, it will solve the health crisis across the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you believe going to the streets and having protest would really be something interesting to really solve such problems?
For this case, I support the strike since it is one way of airing out some of the key challenges that affects the health workers in the country. Yes.
Great. Now, from where you sit, do you think the current implementation by the Kenya Kwanza government, that is, as far as the health universal coverage is concerned, do you think we are headed in the right direction with the current happenings in the country, the strikes, and of course, it's not something that is new. It's been happening quite a while. Do you think could be a solution that could be implemented once and for all?
My take on this is that in the past decades, we have seen the health workers striking for more than 100 days. And at the end of it all, the call to have a mediation between the Ministry of Health officials and KMPDU union has been used before to make sure that they are in agreement and all their concerns are being taken care of by the national government.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's take, for instance, the strike happens tomorrow. What happens to the contingency places? We're having some patients who are in critical places in the ICUs. What happens if the doctors' strike continue and we have someone, some of the operations in the medical services coming to a halt?
What I can say is that is a critical issue that the government should look forward to solving this crisis in a few days, since now it will affect a lot of people who are patients in hospitals who need to be taken care of. And as a country, we need to make sure that we are heading in the right directions. And this comes along with taking care of the critical sector, that is like the health sector, so that the economy grows along well. Yes.
Great. Now, let's take the case of Davji Atela, who was shot on Thursday while leading the protest. They say they were peaceful, right? Okay, now, do you think justice will be served?
First of all, from the incident, this shows that the police used excessive force in dealing up with the protesters.
Yeah.
And I would like to call upon the relevant authorities to take accountability of the actions that took place that resulted to the Doctors Union SG, Devji Atela, being attacked. And moving forward, I would like to comment that if the protests continue, it means that more people will be seriously injured, and this is not acceptable as a country. Yes.
Great. Now, what measures would you suggest, maybe if implemented, could actually solve the root causes of the chaos witnessed in the health sector?
What I will suggest is that the Parliament should look forward in this matter and make sure that the reforms that are required, like now the posting of the 879 medical interns, 278 dentists, and 72 pharmacists to be posted immediately, since this is a critical sector, and as a Kenya Kwanza government is looking forward to having a universal health coverage for every citizens in the country. Yes.
Now, we've seen the recent case of the protest, and we saw Devji Atela getting shot. Do you think this could be making a difference between the police and the health workers? There could be a difference, and maybe in terms of operations?
So what I can say is since the attack of Doctors Union SG, what I've said, as I've said before, the relevant authorities should be held accountable. And I call upon the medical practitioners and also all those who are involved in the protests to make sure that the rule of law prevails. Yes.
All right, great. We'll be having more conversation on that. Let's switch to the current education reforms witnessed in the Ministry of Education. And of course, recently, Ezekiel Machogo, that is the CS for Education, says the government has launched 1 billion Kenyan shillings to support shortage of schools in Nairobi. From where you sit, do you think the current implementation and the education sector, the reforms on the CBC curriculum being enacted as well, do you think we headed in the right direction?
For the case of Nairobi, and you see now in Nairobi we have 200 schools, and these 200 schools serves 4.5 million people in Nairobi. So when you look at this, you find that there is a gap, and this means that some of the people here in Nairobi are not going to school. Young children are not going to school because of the congesting of classrooms. So I support that decision, that since recently I saw the president giving out 1 billion to build 3,500 classrooms in Nairobi. So I support the decision, and this will help to improve the education system here in Nairobi. Thank you.
Nairobi has 17 constituencies, and it is through these they're going to build more schools. But in regard to the overpopulation in Nairobi, do you think maybe that could be making an impact?
Yes, it will make an impact, since now creation of more schools and classrooms will attract more students, and even more children will be able to get affordable comprehensive school systems here in Nairobi. Yes.
Great. According to CS Ezekiel Machogu, now he wants tertiary institutions to specialize in disciplines like the diploma certificates. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely, I will say that you find that now the government has been pushing to have more TVETs. And these TVETs, unlike before, you find that most TVETs don't have students going to study. So I think this is one a way of having more students going to TVET. And they are very important in our economy, since most people will get training, if it is engineering, if it is small craft systems, which we are missing in our economy.
Yep.
This will help to build more skills in our youths. Yes.
Now, in the event that is enacted, what happens to the universities? Because most of the times we're experiencing high admissions in the universities.
You find also there is a lot of congestion in our universities. And it is, I support the decision, since now university students will get more resources and will be able to cater for their admission or number of students in the school. Sometimes you find our universities are overflooded. There are many graduates, and also if you combine with the diploma students, you find that now the university has a lot of students.
Yep.
And when it comes to the university providing the right skills for the students, you find that due to congestions, they don't get enough equipment.
Yep.
Yes. So I support the decision.
Right. Recently, we had Daystar University come and attack on forcing students to actually attend church services. What are your thoughts on that?
What I can say is that every university strives to achieve or get excellence through their mission and vision of the university. And that decision, in my opinion, it may not be 100% effective, but it will help build the character and improve the values of our university students.
So do you support that?
In my opinion, I support, but as I've said, it may not be 100% effective. Yes.
Great. We've been having the current education reforms in the universities, the HELB loans, and of course being served as well to the TVET institutions. So far, in regard to the education sector in the country, do you think maybe there is a change point, looking at how things were done differently a couple of while, and now with the new government? Do you think there is a difference? And
what I can say is that there is no much difference, but there has been the government has been pushing so hard to have more scholarship on students going to TVET.
Yep.
Unlike before, the government was providing more scholarship on students going to universities, but this time round they have focused on more students getting scholarship, well, those who are going to train on TVET institution. Yes.
Great. You mentioned something to do with the scholarships and all that. We've seen the medics striking to have the interns absorbed and have the placement of internships in the country. And again, the Kenya Kwanza government, every time they say they've exported labor out of the country, from where you sit, what's the impact of that? Why are we still having some students having challenges with internships? Yet we've seen an export of labor of more than 2,500 workers outside Kenya.
In my opinion, what I can say is there need to be some policies that will enable students who are on internship to transition after a given period to employment. Yes.
Great. Now, what's your parting shot? You can use that camera. What's your parting shot?
What I can say is that education reforms are very important to our country, and we have seen even some of the reforms being deemed on by Parliament, like the case of having introduction of chaplains and imams in school, and so as to provide a value-based education system. So these some of the reforms are good for our country,
Yep.
but some needs to be passed through Parliament. Yes.
Great, and that is Dennis Ngeno, the energy planner at the Ministry of Education, and of course discussing matters on KMPD youth strike, where they claim they will be going to the streets tomorrow, and of course that we discuss about the education sector as well. My name is John Matava. Thank you so much for watching, and those that made this show a success, we are saying thank you as well. Please do have a good night.